Good morning. Welcome again to Morning Devotion. And thank you again so much for our time together. It's Valentine's Day today. And we've missed Valentine's for many years because we're always in Israel at this time. But this year we put it back to start a little later because we really want to be here for Valentine's to work on marriages. All day in the services today I'm teaching on happily ever after. How to stay married for life and enjoy it. But right now, let's pick up with the book of Exodus chapter 40, the very last few sentences of the book of Exodus. Then the cloud covered the tent of meeting, and the glory of the Lord filled the tabernacle. Moses could not enter the tent of meeting because the cloud had settled upon it, and the glory of the Lord filled the tabernacle. In all the travels of the Israelites, whenever the cloud lifted from above the tabernacle, they would set out. But if the cloud did not lift, they did not set out until the day it lifted. Until the day it lifted. So the cloud of the Lord was over the tabernacle by day, and the fire was in the cloud by night, in the sight of all the house of Israel during all their travels. One of the most beautiful principles that you can learn about the guidance of God is that it is not complicated. Simply follow the cloud. Now, too often in our lives, we make God's guidance very, very difficult for ourselves. When the cloud lifted, they would pack their bags and follow the cloud. When the cloud settled, they would unpack their bags, pitch their tents, and stay. It was just that simple. If the cloud did not lift, they weren't looking to go anywhere. When the cloud stopped, they weren't looking to move on. They just followed the cloud. Now here's the principle. Relax and focus on where you are until God tells you to go someplace else. Relax and focus on what you're doing until God tells you to do something else. Now, it's just that simple. Some Christians, they can never settle into what they're doing because they're always wanting God to tell them about something else. Settle in with what you're doing. Settle into where you're working. Settle into the ministry that God has directed you to. Settle into the assignment that God has given you, and just settle into it. When God wants you to move on, God will move on. So many Christians today, they pack their bags every day and wait for the cloud to move, and it doesn't move. But they never settle in. Now, brothers and sisters, there's a beautiful principle in the Bible that the wine has to allow the dregs to settle before it's poured into another cup. God wants us to let our lives settle. He leaves us in an assignment. He leaves us in a situation, and things settle in our life. And then when we move on to the next place, we're better people. We've left the dregs behind.